Hey everybody, Truth Dog here, internet's favorite dog. It's like my billionth take. I keep making it like a minute into this video and just like not wanting to do it. And I know I do every single one of these videos. When I do these videos on camera lately, I start them by saying I don't want to do them. But really, oh my god. How do people do videos? How do people do videos like every day? Is that like an extrovert thing or something? How the hell do you have the passion or inspiration every day? Especially people who get on camera, like Enoch the Freestyle Prince. He does like 5 videos a day where he's on camera. How the hell do you do that crap? And he's not, I can tell he's not an extrovert, so there you go. But I keep also looking at the piece of paper like it's supposed to help me, but it's such a mess. I can't decipher this stuff, so it's throwing me. I can't read my notes. Have we made it to 10 minutes yet? Apparently not. Okay, so and maybe it's just a stupid video. Cloning, how to avoid being cloned. Because I've had like people asking, like, with so many people being replaced, how come like we haven't yet? How come we're still alive? Well, to answer that, Jack, if that is your real name, you're not alive, at least I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure we're dead right now. This is purgatory. Like, we're in that, you know how they say your life flashes before your eyes when you die? Well, you died, and this is your life flashing before your eyes. My opinion. But Kanye West said it, and I'm pretty sure that he's never been wrong. He has been cloned though. And that gets me right back on track. How to avoid being cloned. The best tip I can give you, and I probably should have saved this one for last because it is a joke one, and it's always good to end on a joke. But who the hell is going to make it to the end of this video? So I'll just say it right now. If you only want to hear, if you're only going to watch one, if you only listen to one tip on how not to be cloned this year, make it this one. Number 1, don't be born an organic portal. Why? Because organic portals are soulless. They are NPCs. They are clones. When a person is soul scalped or cloned, their soul is removed, or at least their original soul is removed from the body. In the cases like celebrities, I think that a demon comes in and into like either the corpse, or they completely like do away with the original vessel, and basically the original person is inhabited by a demon spirit. They have full access to all the memories and emotions and personality of the person they're impersonating, but it's not them. I've said this before too, but you can tell the difference like when a baby's born, if they're real or not. And this is like if they're human or reptilian, because psychopaths, for the most part, are real too. They're just really bad. You know, like good people are angels and they're real, they're really good. Psychopaths are demons and they're real, really bad. It's like good guys and bad guys in a movie. I've said that before. Whereas the organic portals, the clones, for the most part, are just background characters. The other thing I should explain about organic portals, because maybe someone's just randomly clicked this. This is the first video they've ever seen on this topic. I tend to make my videos for people who are like at least somewhat versed in these like conspiracy things. But an organic portal, just have fluff on my hand apparently. I've really got to stop masturbating. Organic portals are called organic portals because they can be inhabited by a spirit, often like the 4th or 5th dimension outside the physical realm, you know, like a ghost or whatever. They can be by like a demon or even an angel. See, the idea of organic portals, most channels will say that they're all evil, they're all psychopaths and all that, but they could just as easily be inhabited by an angel as they could a demon. So they could go both ways. Unfortunately, because their base mode of operation, when they're not like being driven by some outside force, They operate strictly on programming, TV programming, media, religion, education, all that crap. All their personality and intelligence is programming from all that stuff. So unfortunately, because we live in purgatory, technically hell, most of the organic portals are operating on negative, narcissistic, psychopathic programming. It really depends, but more and more you'll see that as the programming gets more extreme. Another thing, like I said, we're living in hell, technically. This is just like, I wrote this down, like the Nirvana song, It Smells Like Teen Spirit. Don't know if you've heard that one. The lyrics, hello, 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 how low. Oh yeah, I got ahead of myself here. That's not where I wanted to start. But, okay, so let's start over. Let's pretend that I do edits. Idiot, Freudian slip, describe myself. We're taught to greet each other with hello. Now, what most people don't even realize anymore is that hell used to be a pretty bad swear word, you know. You'd have to say like 16 Hail Marys or something. Hail, I said Hail Marys. You'd have to say like 16 Hail Marys or something if you said hell back in the day. This is before my time, I'm not that old. If you said the word hell. But then, we're also taught to greet each other by saying hello. It's still the same word. It's like they just added 1, 2, 3, 1 letter. So that's curious. And it's like, when a baby's born, yeah, I really got, see my notes are all screwing me up here. When a baby's born, they come into a real person with a soul, they come into the world screaming because they've been tricked into coming back into the matrix again, reincarnating, recycling. They come into the matrix fully conscious, and they suddenly realize where they are. They start crying, right? They're screaming in agony because they know they're in hell. And it's like the greeting, hello. It's like, hell, oh, you know what I mean? Like, duh, you're in hell. We're living in hell, for heaven's sake. Kanye West, he's just a gift that keeps on giving, that guy. But the hello, hello, how low, because you can't get any lower in frequency or dimension than hell. So it's hello, and it also means how low. So credit to Kurt Cobain there. So let's just get into the tips here at the nearly 8-minute mark. How to avoid being cloned. This is the best one. I'm going to say this about all the tips. So this one's really good. Don't fall in with the wrong crowd. Basically, you're best off being a lone wolf in this world, I find, for the most part. They make it nearly impossible for you to make decent friends anyway. Most of the people that the Matrix deems suitable to you are perps, NPCs, narcissists, psychopaths, all that junk. So unless you like miraculously are allowed to have a relationship of any kind with a real person, obviously go for it. But most people aren't afforded that, so it's better to take your own company than a piece of shit's company. I think that's pretty sound advice, and they should print that on a t-shirt. So don't fall in the wrong crowd. This includes fraternities. It's all peer pressure stuff, you know. Churches, cults, Freemasonry, obviously, the female equivalent, Eastern Star, all that junk. What's that say? Scientology. Oh yeah, I got Scientologist pedos. So I guess I thought I'd want to talk about how Scientologists are pedophiles. Not really, but in case you didn't know, the Scientologists are pedophiles. Have you seen Beck's film clips? So, you know, the musician Beck, he was good for like 2 or 3 albums or so. Now he's crap. Maybe he's been cloned. I mean, he looks pretty off, but maybe it's just all that child raping they mind control these musicians into doing, the Scientologists. So he's got like from his latest album, he's got this one clip called Wow, and maybe I'll make a video on like how to spot a pedophile, a pedo. But that clip Wow, when I saw that I was like, wow, but not in a good way. It's like full of like subliminal and superbliminal pedophilia stuff. Yeah, so like avoid churches, avoid religion in general. Because apparently in the basements they have cleaning centers, or they got like they do all sorts of icky stuff. They got those like elevators down to the 9th layer of hell or something. I don't know. These notes are really throwing me off. I'm probably better off without them. And Mormons. Oh yeah, my experience with Mormons. They're weirdos. As part of a unemployment course, and it was all run by Mormons. It was completely nepotistic. They were all related to each other, and they wanted me to sign this contract. It was to get me to actually let me go get that. And I'm also going to get a drink of water. So just talk amongst yourselves. Oh wait, I think I can pause this. I'm going to just pause this. I'll be back in a jiffy. Well, I'll be back instantaneously if I pause it. Okay, be right back. And we're back. Yeah, so as part of this unemployment course, it was like a work for the dole thing. This was 2015, and I was part of the music program. You got to choose. They were filming anti-drug commercials, and you got to either be part of like the filming or the music. And the music was just me, this DJ guy who was like the teacher, and another guy who was sort of like learning how to mix and master. So I was doing the music for that. I might talk about this another time because I could easily go to like 20 minutes just talking about this experience. But everyone, it was just a joke. For those who don't know, all government commercials, the intention is to subliminally do the opposite of what the ad seems to be doing. So if it's like, don't drink and drive, they make it so that a person on a subliminal level will watch that and actually want to drink and drive. I mean, it's as simple as the best way to make somebody do something is to tell them not to do it, because then they'll want to do it. And so, like, if you have these ads that is black and white, don't do this, drink and drive, you're a bloody idiot, all that sort of stuff. It's sort of like it lights a spark, that rebellious sort of reverse psychology kind of thing in a person. Good sentence. And so, like, with these commercials, I noticed the problems in it. They were all scripted. No, even though like we were allowed to all like give our opinions and like we were all meant to like put these ads together, they were already written for us before we got there, and it was by these Mormon people who are just weirdos. And I noticed in one, I brought it up with one of the directors. The directors were just people who had cameras, like had purchased cameras. They didn't know what the hell they were doing, but they had like the storyboard and everything. And I pointed out like a subliminal, it was like something really dirty and sexual. Can't remember it off the top of my head, but because I caught it, they had to take it out of the commercial because everyone noticed it after I pointed it out. And like they said, oh well, we didn't mean to do that. I was like, another thing in the commercial, it was this stupid. Like, so here's the setup: there's a bunch of kids. They're all at a party, right? And a drug dealer walks up to them and tries to sell them drugs, like all sorts of drugs, like bags of drugs or whatever. And they consider it. And then the ad shows what would happen to all these people if they did drugs. And, it shows them all, like in the gutter, dead, whatever else, all these like just generic worst case scenarios. And then one of the people in the group decides, after paying for the drugs already, they decide to throw their drugs in the garbage can because they don't want to grow up to be a loser. And this inspires the other three people in the group to all throw their drugs in the bin at the party, where nobody's going to walk past the bin and see a bunch of drugs on the top and take them, for one. But they all decide to throw their drugs in the bin, and then it has this really like inspirational, beautiful thing where it has a montage of showing what everyone became after throwing their drugs out into the trash can. They became Prime Minister of Australia. They became star athletes. You name it. The sky's the limit, right? So that was the ad. But I remember like during like the storyboard phase of it, I said, it's really good how you show a positive message about not doing drugs, but you don't say that anything bad happened to the drug dealer because they paid for all the drugs, and he just like he gets away scot-free. Like, he has all their money, and like presumably he's still dealing drugs, right? Wouldn't it be better if we also showed that he wound up in jail or something? And the director he was like, oh yeah, that's a really interesting point. You know, I'm going to consider that. They didn't put it in. So that's just one thing. Just be aware of that when they do those ads. They're trying to get across a pro drug message, because the government wants you to make mistakes, be incarcerated because it makes money off you, and all that stuff. So anyway, they wanted me to sign this contract so they could use my music in the ad, and I'm glad I didn't sign it, because those ads were terrible. But the reason I didn't sign it was because they wanted me to sign this, and I read through it, and there was something very curious here. So I'm just going to read this to you. I'll show it to you as well, so you know that I'm not making this up like everything else that I say. Collection of sensitive information. Sensitive information, as defined by the Privacy Act 1988, includes information about an individual's health, racial or ethnic origin, political opinions, membership of a political association, don't have that, religious beliefs, don't have that, or affiliations, philosophical beliefs, have plenty of those, membership of any professional or trade association, membership of a trade union, sexual orientation or practices, I wish, criminal record, nope. And okay, so you're basically giving the government permission to use all of this data. And so the last thing here that you'd be signing away, genetic information that is not otherwise health information or biometric information. Biometric information. Okay, so I went on the old internet and looked that up. Biometric information, biometric data is DNA. So for some reason, trying to get everyone in the course to sign this contract that gave away your consent for the government to use your DNA, right? So I refused to sign that. Long story short, they got really furious with me. They just kept saying it's a standard contract. But yeah, I said no, and they kicked me out of the course. And everyone else in the course signed it, but I don't know. I'm glad that I didn't. So just be aware of that. You can potentially lose your soul or be cloned by signing contracts. Obviously, if you sell your soul to the devil, you know, that sort of thing's happening, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself there. Was that in there? Oh yeah, anyway. So another way to avoid being cloned or replaced is avoid relationships with reptilians. Now, if you want to know how to spot a reptilian, just check out my other videos, because this video is already long enough as it is, so we'll just go. But I have a little story here. I don't remember if I've shared this in a video, maybe just the comments, but it's worth repeating, I suppose, that my not sister, she got in a relationship with a reptilian. Pretty sure he's a psychopath, although she can't seem to tell. And one time when I was getting my hair cut, back when I used to get my hair cut, her and my mum were like at the hairdressers where I was going to. It was just like this really strange coincidence. And I hadn't seen her in a while, and I didn't really recognize her. But anyway, she showed me this thing in her eye where she had like this like dot, like it looked like a pinprick or something, like it was this black dot in the white of her eye. No, it wasn't her pupil. She had like this little dot in the white of her eye. She said, "Do you know what this is about?" And she showed it to me, and she was there with her son. And they both had these little marks. And she said overnight, like the night before, they woke up and they had these holes in their eyes. And I don't know how much you've heard about Vrilling, but if you haven't, maybe I'll leave a link about that. This guy is a shill. What's his name again? Said he was on the cover of the Megadeth album or whatever. But he talks about Vrilling, and it's this process where apparently they're a little like reptilian, like a very tiny little thing. Kind of, if you've seen pictures of it, they look like the crab people from South Park. And in South Park, they say like the crab people secretly like run the world. So maybe that's like, you know, truth in plain sight. But apparently these little creatures, like they have this proboscis, like a stinger, and they sting you in the eyeball, and then a snake, like the little creature, it like goes inside a person's eye, burrows its way into their brain, and takes over a person's conscience that way. Like That's one way that a person could like not fully be replaced, but be controlled by like you know, like the hive mind or whatever. So there you go. I just avoid getting in relationships with psychopaths, because I do feel like the common factor there is that the person that she's with, if he's not the one behind that, he's definitely like associated with that, or he's been taken over, and I don't know, people, government or whatever, now have access to her through him. I don't know, but I just know they had those dots in their eyes, and I connected to that with Vrilling. Didn't really explain that very well, but oh well. I already said this, don't sell your soul. Don't do blood over intent. Not sure if people know about blood over intent, but it's that thing where you write down on a piece of paper, what are you supposed to write? I intend to bring heaven on earth, blah, blah, blah. And then you're meant to sign the piece of paper with your own blood, show it on camera, and then upload it to the internet. But that's just a way to sell your soul. And all the channels that promote that aren't good. And most of the people I've seen who have done blood over intent are like zombies after the fact. They're like, yeah, I did blood over intent. It's the greatest thing. Everyone should do it. All you have to do is write on a piece of paper, blah, blah, blah. So avoid that. That's just a way of selling your soul, except you don't get anything out of it. And I think the way that works is because all screens, computer, TV, phone, whatever, they're all like portals. And so anything that you put into the screen, it can read the DNA just through the screen. And so I think that's a way of like giving your blood to the devil or whoever. And one little story, back in like 2013 or 2014 when I first started waking up, my discernment level wasn't like strong enough, and I watched one of those blood over intent videos, and I actually wanted to try it. I thought, wow, you know, that sounds like a great idea, you know. I'd love to bring Usher in heaven on earth or whatever it is. And so I got a pin, and I was trying to draw blood from my finger, right? And I tried for like half an hour to like poke my finger to draw blood, and I literally couldn't do it. So I just gave up. And then like after giving up, I decided, well, that was weird that I couldn't do that. Maybe I should look into this blood over intent thing. And I realized it was a scam. And so I don't know if it was just like a bad pin or like my skin's like ridiculously callous. I don't think it is. Oh, that's another thing. You see that like the 7/7s? 7/7, if you got that on your hand, it's apparently shows a person who has like strong discernment. Not that I'm bragging or anything, but check your hand if you got the 7/7, and you probably do, considering you're a Truth Dog viewer. So what was I talking about? Yeah, so I couldn't draw blood, and I think that was one way of like my angels looking out for me, or something like that. So yeah, don't do blood over intent, because your angels might not give a shit about you. So don't even try it. This last thing I want to talk about, sleep paralysis. Now I'm getting really thirsty, and I don't mean like the horny kind of thirsty. And don't you hate that phrase, that thirsty? Most of the phrases that we're taught to say are just, they're so low vibrational. They're so like not classy or whatever. But sleep paralysis. So that's something else that I used to go through heavily when I was waking up, because I think when you first start waking up, that's when like gang stalking and all that sort of stuff is like at its worst, because the system, the matrix or whatever, knows you're waking up, and it's like they throw everything at you to try and get you back to sleep, get you back in line, you know. So I was suffering sleep paralysis really badly when I first started waking up. And for those who don't know, sleep paralysis is like when you wake up in your bed and you literally can't move. You're like frozen. People have described it as like being held down by like an invisible force. Some people can see the demons. In my case, I couldn't. But it's literally like you can't move. You can't even like open your mouth to scream. I don't know if you've ever been on like one of those Gravitron rides, but it kind of feels like that, where it's just like there's like a centrifugal force that's like literally preventing you from moving or opening your mouth or like doing anything to defend yourself. So like this thing is on you. What I think that is like I said, a demon. But I think that they're trying to suck your soul from you. And maybe again, I was lucky enough that my angels were looking out for me, and that never happened. But one night after sleep paralysis, and this was when I was still drinking. I used to drink fairly regularly, semi-heavily. I drank spirits, and for those who don't know, they call them spirits because they're infested with demonic souls, like dead souls, dead spirits, right? You get possessed, haunted by drinking them, or at least you can. I was drinking like vodka and stuff a lot, rum and all those sort of things. And one night after sleep paralysis, I woke up and I had to vomit. So I went to the toilet and like all this bright yellow vial came up. It was like, I think my body's way of purging my system, because I feel like the sleep paralysis can only really happen when like you're at a compatibly low vibration for a demon. Like demons can't really mess with you unless you're at a low enough frequency to do so. If you're at high frequency, it's like kryptonite to them. Like you're too bright, your light will burn them. So that's why, again, they try to keep you at a low frequency when you start waking up, so that they can continue to mess with you. But yeah, so like I got that out of my system, and I took that as a sign that I needed to stop drinking. So I did, and at least hard liquor, and I very rarely drink these days. But it's yeah, so like I think the demons can only really get to you if your vibration is low enough. And so like avoid heavy drinking, avoid doing drugs, even smoking like marijuana, because I think most people are aware, but all of that stuff's laced. It's like supplied by the military or the government. They lace it with all sorts of like harmful chemicals and just stuff to mess you, keep your vibration low, keep you kind of stupid. It's kind of like how they put fluoride in the water and whatnot. It's like GMO weed, I guess you could say. Avoid eating animal products. If you can, go vegetarian or even vegan, because you put dead meat in your body. That's just dead energy. It's very low vibrational. They torture those animals before they kill them on purpose. It makes it very, very evil frequency, and you put that in your body, and your body's compatible with low vibrational things. So be careful of that. Oh yeah, and like just with the sleep paralysis thing, I think that's alluded to in the Nightmare on Elm Street films. You know, Freddy Krueger, how he gets you in your dreams. He can like kill you, steal your soul in your dreams. So I think that's what they were getting on about there. So apparently we're at the end, thank goodness, because I do need a drink of water. But just to recap, so how to avoid being cloned or losing your soul. Don't be born in an organic portal, very important. Don't fall in with the wrong crowds. Keep a high vibration. Oh, and this is the most important one of all. Save the best for last. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to Truth Dog. This has been Truth Dog. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you found it helpful. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Truth Dog out. Woof woof. Oh, yeah, I really need some water.